Hello, welcome to Books and Brews,
the place where beer and literature meet.
With your host, certified cicerone Michael Agnew.
And WahCHOOka, author of the Bluebells Chronicles.
Each month we invite a guest author to read their words and talk about writing while sipping beers specially paired with their work.
Today's guest is Frank Warner.
So sit back,
pop a cold one,
and dive into some books
and brews.
This kind of Stars and Stripes cocktail, which is a layered drink with red, white, and blue. However, the way it ends up working out, it comes out as red, blue, and white, because what ends up happening is, because of specific gravity, we need to layer it such that the layers don't mix. And when I layer it this way, it'll work out. So what we do is we're going to have 3 layers, which we mix some crushed ice, which is trying to reset itself as non-crushed ice. This is one of those drinks where it may take a little bit to make because of all the ice scooping I have to do. And with the first layer, I put in grenadine, which is right here. So a brilliant red color of grenadine. And essentially the proportion of the ingredients, you have 1/3 grenadine in the ice, then 1/3 blue curacao, and the top layer is 1/3 lemon and 1/3 vodka. And the fact that that adds up to more than one reflects, people making alcoholic drinks doing math. So and again, I was, what I was riffing off of with this drink is the patriotic theme of the first reading and all, and also our July 4th holiday as well. And so we have the first layer, which is a brilliant red, which I'll pour into the base. And then I will move to the next layer with the blue curacao. Maybe I can short circuit this by just a broad scoop into the bowl. And then we get our wonderful, brilliant blue curacao liqueur. And again, maintaining the 1/3, 1/3 proportion. And Laura, of course, will compress this part of the video since I'm taking up all kinds of time here.
I took the opportunity to show the dog, who has not gotten up off her couch all day, but decided she had to join us for some cocktails.
You can maybe put this over on the other side. And then we have the third bowl. And on the top of that, we get some lemonade.
We're using Arnold Palmer for the lemonade.
Because we didn't really have lemonade. I always really loved Arnold Palmer.
And is this vodka going in?
Yes.
So we're now mixing the vodka with the Arnold Palmer, or what the recipe calls for is lemonade with vodka.
Yes. And if we're lucky, this will stay on top. It should sort of did. The lemonade probably would have made it float a little easier. Oh, I think your version of the drink is working. So here we have the red, white, and blue.
How about that?
Layers of ice.
It's looking good. Patriotic.
Very patriotic. I love that.
Cheers.
Cheers. So I think I just got the grenadine on the
You can
bottom.
just lift your straw if you'd like.
So you can drink this in layers. I just got must have been the
Blue curacao. It's also her sweet liqueur.
but it looks like you kind of can mix it up.
Well, you could, yes, and then you'll get the whole thing together.
So now it's kind of a purple
Wow.
instead of red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
That is a neat drink. And as I was saying, when they find something I like, I might drink the whole thing. I would like to ask our listeners to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We've been doing this a while, and it's time to really start growing our channel and our podcast. And so we officially have a sponsor this month. This is going to come as a surprise to you.
Wow.
We do. The sponsor is Gabriel's Horn Press. And imagine that. Anybody who knows that's my publishing company. So I am officially sponsoring this episode. And so I will tell people, go to gabrielshornpress.com and check out all our fantastic authors. I think we have about a dozen authors, don't we? Yeah, we have about a dozen authors plus an annual poetry anthology. So what really kind of jumped out to me about this reading was that you just take it in stride that you're writing past armed soldiers, which to me is normal too, having grown up. In fact, I have a funny story about, I used to live on base at the Armed Forces Staff College, if you know where that is.
No, where's that?
It's in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
And it's mainly a naval base, but my dad was there for 6 months training for his next job. And so it's divided between the residential and the base by a huge fence with an armed guard there. And there was a hole in that fence. And so I was like third grade, not as bright as I like to think I became in later years. And my friends and I always thought it was fun to try and sneak through that hole, see if we could wiggle through. And we really believed this armed guard didn't see us. We thought we were pulling one over on him. And in retrospect, I'm like, it was probably an 18-and-a-half-year-old kid. And he was probably trying not to laugh because he obviously knew that we thought we were pulling one over on him. What was it about that place that you wanted to write about that and none of the other places you lived?
Well, I guess Germany, maybe I was a little bit younger then. It's funny I think we all know this, when we're 5, 6, 7 years old, you're still attached more to your family than to your friends. After about 7 or 8 years old, 10 especially, I think you start really making these friendships that should, in the usual flow of things, should become lifelong friendships. So at age 8, 9, 10 in Fort Huachuca, not only was I making my first strong friendships, Flavio was one of them. There was Emily. There was Skeeter and Arthur. Anyway, but not only was that true, but the whole place was just so big, and we could explore miles and miles of desert. We could go up to WahCHOOka Canyon on our own. The kids could just go up. We could take a bus into Sierra Vista, the town next door, without any adult supervision at all, and nobody would even ask about us. As long as we were there for dinner, that was it. So
was this all on base?
Well, except for Sierra Vista is off base, but
Okay.
Sierra Vista is a town right next door.
Okay.
And but most of it, you have miles and miles on base of desert floor to look at, the Tumbleeweed Forts to build and have fun with, baseball fields, and then there's WahCHOOka Canyons with these huge mountains on the south side of the post, where you could hike up the canyon and look for the rumored gold, and so there's so many things that were going on at the same time. The place was almost magical to me, and then to be so abruptly taken away made me maybe romanticize it a little more than the last one, the last drone, I told the men, I'm so sure this drone won't crash that I'll put $4 silver on it. $4 for my 4 boys. I duct taped the coins to the top of the drone and we sent it out. And guess what happened? It crashed, Mark asked. Yeah. Ah, no, we said. It hit the ground hard, George guessed. That's about it, George, Dad said. It flew behind a hill about 3 miles out and disappeared from radar. So it crashed behind the hill, I asked. That's right, Dad said. He pulled out his wallet and dropped 4 coins into a handkerchief. Are these the silver dollars? Carl asked. I thought the drone crashed. It did crash, but I couldn't leave it out there. 2 days after the test, when the radioactivity was down, I got 2 of my men in a truck and we found the wreckage. We picked up the drone. There weren't too many pieces. And I got the silver dollars. They weren't even scratched. They were 4 Liberty Head silver dollars, 3 minted in 1889 and 1 in 1819.
Oh my.
As
That's
Dad,
wonderful.
as Dad placed the heavy coins in our hands, I wondered if the silver would be hot. But it was no warmer than any other coin from my father's hands. They're your silver dollars, Dad said. I'll hold them for you right now. They'll be safe, I promise, and you can see them anytime you want. That was it.
That is fantastic. And yes, that was real money. And do you still have your silver dollar by
Here they are. Here they are right here.
Oh, that is fantastic.
There you go. I'm not sure. Okay, you can see them here. Oops.
Yes,
It blurs too much up there. But here's all 4 of them. I got them. Now, 3 of these obviously are my 3 brothers, but they don't know. No, I'm just kidding. They know. They know where they are.
I do now.
And I tell them the same thing. If you want them, come get them.
You tell an interesting story in your book about this search for gold.
Oh, okay.
Can you tell our 9.05 million listeners about that?
Oh, okay. You have 9 million listeners there?
I'm a fiction writer.
Oh, okay. That's good. Well, okay.
Didn't
Yes.
ask the scientist.
In my scientific data, which is pulled from my imagination, yes, we do.
Yeah. Well, the story is about Private Bob Jones. And in 1941, before we were in World War II, he was one of about 10,000 soldiers in Fort Huachuca. And they had a lot of time to do nothing there. So they went up exploring WahCHOOka Canyon. And he and a friend of his, according to his story, fell into this hole in WahCHOOka Canyon, down through a shaft, and found all these stacks of gold bricks, which they estimated from his description of it to be worth $6 million at least even then. So he came back after the war, but his friend had died in the war. So he's the only one that can corroborate. Well, nobody could corroborate the story. It was his story alone. But he did get somebody to come in with him and start and dig for that in that area of WahCHOOka Canyon near the water pump. And they couldn't find it in 1969. So now they decided, while I was there, well, it took a while, but a couple of years while I was there. It was just before we left, as a matter of fact. So we were there from 60 to 63. Well, early 63, they got permission from the White House to use the Army to do some of the effort there to open up the ground again, to make one big last search for it. And they still didn't find it. Bob Jones's friend enlisted a guy who believed in science fiction. Well, in science, well, I shouldn't say. He believed in flying saucers. He claimed that a flying saucer that crashed in New Mexico had technology on it that helped him as a diviner, as a what they call the dowsing. Yeah, to find, like they would often find water with these dowsing rods, and other thing he claimed he could find other natural resources like oil and gold. So and he had these what he called doodle bugs. They were just basically like fancy dowsers with a thing at the end that looked like
that was really interesting reading about that, because your father's having this really bizarre conversation with this man who's just saying, well, of course we hired him. He believes in the scientific method. And your dad's just kind of like,
everybody. Well,
he
the thing
says
is-
he got this from a spaceship, and he, you know, it was